Hello, today I'll show you the process of preparing the files for laser engraving and cutting of the custom map of Lake Memphremagog, made for a client from Canada. After a short communication with screenshot to define the exact area the map should cover, it's time to get started.
First, I usually orient myself in Google Maps to find the exact location. In this case, the lake. In QGIS, it's a bit harder for me, so I start with Google Maps. Next, I set the area that I want to download. You can zoom in more precisely by holding the Control key while scrolling with the mouse wheel. I'm starting the Quick OSM plugin, which allows me to download the necessary data directly from OpenStreetMap. I choose the Quick Query option. I select Canvas Extent as the area, meaning the zone that I currently see on the screen. I personally exclude multi-polygons and points so that only the most important data remains. First, I enter highway as the key and motorway as the value. Then I add the other road types: trunk, primary, secondary, tertiary, unclassified, and residential. Click Run Query. And here's the result. Continue the same way with the other road types. I just want to make it clear, I'm not the top expert in all these programs. After all, they are quite different pieces of software. I'm an artist and a designer, and I do many other things as well. I'm simply showing you the way I approach it. After downloading the data, adjust the thickness and colors of the roads. For better visuals, I prefer rounded outlines. Different colors make it easier to select the objects later in Illustrator. Click on the layer name to adjust the outline, thickness, and other parameters. A window pops up with all the settings you need. In this case, all the roads will be engraved on a single layer, so I make them all black since I won't be separating them. And now we're done with the roads. It's time to download the water area, or alternatively the landmass. I only need one of them. In the key field, I type natural, and in the value field, water. At this stage, it's important to include multi-polygon as well. Here's the result. I'm really happy with this one because honestly, I don't always manage to extract the water perfectly, especially when we're dealing with large seas or oceans. That's always a real challenge. And that's it. QGIS part is done. I usually export the project as a PDF and then move on to Adobe Illustrator to finish the work. And now we import the PDF file into Illustrator. I have to admit, I'm not very good with it since I have more experience with CorelDRAW. But for some tasks, Illustrator is simply better, so I have to use it. I draw a frame that covers the entire project and helps me center the individual layers. I duplicate the layer and then make the original invisible and lock it, just in case, to keep it as a backup. I delete the background map that came from QGIS. I click a blue object and use Select Similar to mark all with the same color. You can see how many tiny water areas there are. It doesn't make sense to cut them with the laser, so I'll have to clean them up manually. But that's part of the game. And now it's important to take a look at this plugin, Vector First Aid. It's part of the Astute Graphics package, and it makes working with too many points much easier. Now I click here, super smart, remove points on paths. And once it's done, you'll see how many points have been removed. And there it is. 76,000 points have been removed. Copy the water area with Ctrl+C and paste it in a new layer with Ctrl+F. I renamed the layer to water and started cleaning up the small water areas. Then I realized it's easier to simply select the ones I want to keep. After that, I saved the file as EPS and imported it into CorelDRAW, where I feel more comfortable working. But I've got to say, in CorelDRAW, it feels a lot harder to select objects with the same color than in Illustrator. At least that's how it seems to me. Thanks to ChatGPT for the easier trick. Here I'm selecting only the area from the map that we agreed on with the client. The rest I cut out using the trimming tool. In Corel, that's really easy. Even so, in many places, I still need to make manual corrections. And yes, it takes time, but it's part of the process. Now it's time to move on to the bathymetry. I haven't found a single place where you can get all the data, so I used different sources. I discovered that some fishing apps actually provide very good information. Finally, based on these sources, I usually create the water layers manually. Yes, it's really a lot of work, and this map turned out to be especially challenging. I'm sure some of you know tricks to make it faster. Feel free to share them in the comments below. As for the city names and the highway numbers, in this case, I did them manually with a lot of patience and, of course, plenty of coffee. And here it is, the finished map separated into layers for laser cutting and engraving. I really hope the client likes it because it took me quite a struggle. Don't ask me how much time it took or how much I got paid for it. Hopefully, someone else will also buy it as a file, so I can at least get back a bit of the time I've invested. And finally, a fun fact. Did you know that the US-Canada border actually runs right through this island? One part belongs to the US and the other part to Canada.